Hello, peoples of the internet. Today, I will be attempting to build a Lotus-inspired sports car. Now, I'm not looking for something that is a Lotus clone, no, but instead something that kind of draws inspiration from one of their cars. So, basically, I'm going to make it out of fiberglass, and I'm going to aim for pretty good weight balance and things. But I'm not trying to build a replica of a Lotus or anything. Now, I actually quite like this body, although, if you've watched my previous videos, you'll know me with my windows. These windows are far too small and the windscreen is far too waked, and that's the kind of small stuff that really annoys me. Now, if we look in the last 10 years, we don't have that much choice for cars that kind of suit me, but this one is better, and it should suit all the modern crash safety requirements and things. If only we could get a two-door of it, because it is a sports car, remember. Given it is probably a little large for that. And less is more and all that. We don't want to overcomplicate it. There's apparently not that many cars in Sweden, though. What do we have in small cars? Apparently we have nothing made in the last 10 years. Okay. Problem is, I don't want to go and build a G-Wiz or something stupid. It is supposed to be a sports car. So I'm thinking, probably not using something like that, but that is a large vehicle. I think this one's not too bad for size, just a little long. If we could get a shorter version of this. Not that. You know what, I think this is about right. Could even have a convertible, but then that adds complexity, and that complexity comes with its own weight, and we don't want that. This seems to be what we need, kind of a two-door coupe, fairly small in dimensions. I say fairly, it's not tiny. And it should do the job if we can just adjust this stuff correctly. I'll return when I'm on to the next stuff, but in the meantime you can watch. Okay, so here we have our finished vehicle. I'm not exactly full of creative energy now, so the design is a little underwhelming. I mean, it works, I'm happy enough with it, although I have designed better in the past. The door handles also have just stolen off an MX-5 or something. And the rear is probably the best part, let's be honest. We have a Countach ring. And I've naturally forgotten to add the front lip. I do forget these things. I'm just going to add a standard one. It'll work with the design. And, I can't really take chances adding time to the video for things that don't work. So there we go. I may need to flare the arches later, and that'll probably completely mess up the design, but for now, this will work. Now, the layout is fairly simple overall. Also, I've completely messed up the suspension. It should be double wishbone on the front. So double wishbone all round, a very sporty setup. Especially if we have 50-50 weight balance, which I'm aiming for. We have a longitudinal front engine placement. The chassis is made of AHS steel because it's stiff, naturally. And I looked at space frame, but it wasn't really worthwhile. It's probably a more specialist thing. Yeah, you can't mass produce it as well. Although you can't mass produce fiberglass, but Lotus uses fiberglass, and we're not trying to build a mass production car here. But instead a kind of practical track car. And for that it works. Let's put the body back on so you can see it. And then we will move on to the engine. Okay, so here I have my engine. It's a 2.6 litre V6, making 317 horsepower, and it weighs 130.9 kilograms. I was originally aiming for under 130, but it's close enough not to bother me, and I think it's slightly better overall than the turbocharged engine for reliability and probably smoothness, but naturally you don't get the turbo lag, which is always good. Now the conrods, yeah, the engine has problems if I don't set it to titanium, so I've had to use that. I've also got variable valve timing on all cams and stuff. It's a 5 valve per cylinder engine now, as you might expect. And we have a fairly high compression actually. That's just the way the engine likes it. I mean, I'm not going to bother changing what works. No turbocharger this time. I just decided to build a brilliant naturally aspirated engine and be done with it. It's a little expensive, but I've not used the quality sliders, so I think it's still within reason. It's probably still manufacturable. Ignition timing is slightly lower. I did that as it was able to get me 2 extra horsepower over if I had it at just 100. Still quite high though. And it revs to 9700. You'll see if I rev it too high, 10,000, the pistons start having problems. But also that's as good as you need the performance index anyway. 9600 of performance index begins to hurt, but as long as it's at 97 it's fine. I've actually got a single exhaust. I should probably adjust that. I don't believe this makes any difference to the actual performance of the engine, just kind of an aesthetic thing. And since it's a V6, we actually have 2 exhaust outlets rather conveniently. Ooh, look at that. Big exhaust system. We have some decent mufflers and a high flow three-way catalytic converter for economy. Yet also this engine, surprisingly enough, despite being naturally aspirated, it is better than the turbo 4-cylinder. I wouldn't have expected that, but things have turned out the way they have, and I've got an engine I'm happy with, even if it is a little more expensive. It requires a fair amount of cooling as well, but you expect that from a performance engine. That just seems to go up with the power more or less, regardless of your engine configuration. If you have a 1000 horsepower engine, it will need loads of cooling, regardless of whether it has 4 or 10 cylinders. Not that you can get 10-cylinder engines in this game at the moment, maybe sometime in the future. Either way, the weight's gone up, which is odd. I don't know, maybe I adjusted something without looking. I got dual exhaust, but does that really add that much weight? So we're looking at 137.6. Yep, it does. It adds a lot of weight. I'll just have a fake exhaust on my car then. I mean, if it improves our weight balance that much, I'll settle for that. So we still have double wishbone all round and everything, and I need to give this a wee tweak, so I'll return when I've done that. Okay, so here we have our final vehicle. It weighs 1305 kilograms. The weight balance is almost 55% front, and it does 0 to 60 in 4.9 seconds. In itself, it's not too bad. I could bring the tail out, but it looks awkward. I've also gone for a kind of wide body stance so I can fit 255 tyres on. Yeah, I know it should fit better tyres, but hey, that's what fits. That engine is really packed in there, though I need something small and turbocharged, I think, so I'm going to create that now. Okay, so here we have our inline 4 turbo. It's a 1.5 litre engine, and naturally it's got my channel's colours on. Although it's got 2 contrasting shades of blue, I prefer the one on the engine cover thing to the one on the bit that says turbo on, but hey, whichever blue you like, it's on this engine. And it's quite decent for power. We'll see we're making 305 horsepower with a lot of lag, but that's inescapable if you want a powerful turbo engine without terrible economy. Now, I know the engine I had before was technically a better engine, but I've tried to do the best I can for weight balance and things. This is a little lighter, I believe, than that engine, although in reality the turbos add a lot. Hopefully the weight will sit further back. So That should be good. Only slightly further back though, given by the cylinder configuration and everything. But still, I'll claim what victories I can. So here we'll see we've got 52.8% front, which is better than before. Now I think what I'll try and aim for is 52% or less front, which seems like a decent enough target. I mean, I'm struggling to get the engine down to enough weight, but we'll have to see. As a matter of fact, it is not double wishbone all round. I am a dirty liar, and I've changed the suspension without realising. It did hurt my tyre balance overall though. Now what I'm wondering is, since we're trying to rival Lotus and they're known for having decent comfort and all, should we go with multi-link or should we go with double wishbone? You know what, I think for the superior comfort we'll go with multi-link, but we can't go with a comfort suspension set up because that completely destroys performance around a track. It's almost like automation detects you're using a comfort setup and it's like, right, I'm going to add a minute onto your time. Really, for no real reason, it does just slow you down by stupid amounts. Here I return with the engine again. The reason being that I've changed the block material to magnesium and the head material to algae. I've done that because, well, I needed the weight balance and I couldn't really think of a better way to do it. The chassis is also glued aluminium now, to save weight. We have a manual 5-speed here. I couldn't really justify a 6 or 7 speed. The gearing is still quite tight and, you know, I might as well save a bit of money and go with a 5-speed when it's not really having an effect. 6-speed would just be too many gears for the car's own good. And I don't think 4-speed would do it any good either. Now, I could extend them out and have economy gearing, but I don't think that's necessary. It's basically a road kind of prepared track vehicle as opposed to a comfortable road vehicle, so we can accept poor economy. And the wheel spin and 0 to 62 time are actually very well managed. 2.0% wheel spin is not bad at all. It was 20%, then I realised I could lengthen the gears and actually improve acceleration and have the car grip a lot better. No need for traction control or anything when a car grips this well. Now, we have medium compound road tyres. We could put Sport on, which would further reduce the wheel spin, but I don't think it's really necessary, especially when we've gone with 275 tyres all round. Now what happened was, I think the multi-link rear suspension allowed me to fit 275s as opposed to 255s. And the front, well, it could already fit 265, so I just flared those wheels bit by bit until I could fit 275s on the front. Now why do I want 275s all around in a rear-wheel drive car? The reason for that is that we want the braking performance and we want the turning, which will help pull it into corners, which you just wouldn't get with tiny skinny tyres on the front. The wheels are also magnesium because the market demands it. You'll see 86.1 now. If I go with alloy, it drops a little. Well, it was only 1 point when I last checked. Apparently magnesium wheels have become a lot more desirable. How about carbon fibre? Yeah, they still reduce it. Either way, I've got the vehicle I'm happy with. I also think it looks quite cool now. For some reason in my head, I've suddenly thought, like, hey, this thing doesn't look bad. I don't know why. I think I'm just bonding with my car, okay? It's still an ugly thing, but I think because I've kind of built it from the ground up, I'm growing to like it more. Maybe it's just one of those designs, though, that looks horrible at first, but kind of grows on you. Like the Fiat Multipla. Well, everyone hates it, but let's be honest. People who actually have them know they're good cars. They just look horrible. Anyway, back on subject, we'll see there's vented disc brakes, 6-piston. I checked the market and stuff with this. They wanted smaller rear brakes, but the technology I've used is sound, and I don't see a point in going for carbon ceramic. We don't want quite supercar level maintenance costs, although they are 6-piston brakes, so they're not cheap. Now we have downforce aero, one of the joys of going with a limited production car. We've set at 100 front, 29 rear. Seems to be a problem with this game though. The front aero is very ineffective compared to the rear, so you have to set it up like that. Well, I feel I have to at least. Now it's got a Countach wing, because yeah, I think that looks cool on it. And it's all functional aero, which is good. This is made of fibreglass, would you believe it? And I think it looks nice in this blue as well. It's a simple design, but it just works. You'll see the engine has a little extra cooling, same we have a little more than we probably need for the brakes. But we want to keep everything cool, we want to keep everything working. Now I've got 5 seats, that moves the weight balance back over having 4, or probably 2. So why not? Another thing is I've designed this to kind of be a more usable car, haven't I? So Lotuses have 2 seats, whereas if this has 5, it makes it that bit more practical. Yes, it's never going to be the most comfortable car in the world, but if you love motorsport and track days and all that, and you want to compromise your family's safety and comfort in order of having a sporty car, then fair enough. Basic infotainment because it's a sports car. You know, we've seen the Jaguar F-Type and certain Porsches and things. It can get quite heavy, and we're trying to build more of a Lotus kind of vehicle here. We're not trying to build a luxury sports car. We're trying to build a sports car that's simple and light, like they used to build them in the old days. Now, the suspension, I've used what's basically sporty and cheap and simple. I like my simple, cheap technology. We do have active sway bars though and semi-active dampers because they're apparently really sporty. Need to set that up for sport again just to make sure. And you'll see on the overview we have 74.4 reliability. By my standards, that's pretty good, let's be honest. I'm not known for building reliable cars, not to myself at least. Design? We'll see it's a 2-door, 5-seat sport coupe. Yeah, sounds fair enough. We've got double wishbone front and multi-link rear. Same technology as Jaguar actually uses on a lot of their cars these days. Complete coincidence. It also weighs under 1200 kilograms, hence why I've omitted the power steering. Under 1200 kilograms, I think we can get away with it, although it might not be easy to manoeuvre at low speeds. But you know, it's a light car nonetheless. Now, the weight balance, I was struggling with this to finally get to where I wanted it to be for some reason. I don't know, I think it's the multi-link rear suspension is a lot lighter on the rear or something and it moves the weight forwards. So I've had to counter that with the engine material technologies and use higher end materials. It's worked though. 51.7 front, it's not perfect, but it's pretty good. I mean, you don't have Lotuses with 50-50 weight balance, so I think as long as it handles well, people will forgive it. Now, markets. You'll see as a track premium car, it's pretty good. I mean, it's not uncompromising track performance, but you'll see it also comes as a premium light sport. So it's all in that kind of lightweight zone on GazMe. Here it's all over the place. It's apparently competitive for price as a track premium, yet no one wants to buy it for some reason. And here we have Arcania with light sport premium and track premium. Various different regions like it, but it seems overall people think of it as a track car, which is fair enough, you know, it's designed to go quick round a track. Speaking of which, we do need to take it round the Nürburgring. So, let's go. So, my car set a time of 8:14.83, which isn't too bad. It's below a Mercedes-Benz C63 AMG and a Porsche Cayenne Turbo, and it's along the same lines as a BMW Alpina B3 bi-turbo coupe from 2008, and a Range Rover Sport SVR from 2015. So it's okay. It's also just above a 1 Series M Coupe and a Honda Civic Type R. So for its power level, it's not done too badly. I just fear that all the effort I've put into the balance and the decent engine and stuff has really been a little wasted. I've also not checked the price, 30,000. Now I'm thinking I can reduce the quality, so I'll do that and then I'll return. Now, having looked at the kind of price of my car and the cars around it, I'm thinking the closest vehicle to this is the Honda Civic Type R. Now, in Australia, in which I believe the currency is measured here, they don't sell the Type R, but there is a Civic on this one website, and it says the price is 31,090 Australian dollars. So that puts this in direct competition with that Civic, which I can only guess is a similar price to what the Type R would be there, but I don't know. Given Australian dollars even seem to be lesser than the pound, so you pay more in that currency than you do in ours. It might be a lot more, but I still see this as a kind of more specialist rival to the Civic. Also, the quality and everything is on +1 now, which enables me to achieve a $30,000 price tag with a half-decent 6% profit margin. It's not loads of profit, but then this is a limited production vehicle. It's clearly something we're not going to be making loads and loads of. And you'll see the engine bay in this is actually tiny, probably not helped by the fact that I bought the front back. The engine kind of fits in there half decently. There is a fair amount of space all around, actually, a surprising amount of space given how tiny the engine bay is. And it's probably in this particular case the best type of engine I could have gone for, all in all considered, but I don't know. I mean, I've built the best car I think I can build. I can take the brakes off. Brakes? No brakes. And I'm getting distracted from the task in hand, which is to name the vehicle. Now, I'm going to call the company Lots, because I'm so unimaginative. This can be the Lots. I would say Bora, but then that's a Volkswagen. Also a Maserati, I think, if I'm not wrong. Yes, Lots Examine. It's my version of a Lotus Exige, okay? We're going to offend Honda now by saying better than the Civic. That's our trim name. And the engine can be called, well, I would say Lots, but if we're talking like Lotus, I don't believe they build their own engine, so this will have to be supposedly a BLM unit, which stands for British Luxury Motor Cars, not British Leland Mess. No, two different things. So, British Luxury Motor Cars, 2.6 V6. No, I typed it a bit wrong. Oh no, it just looks odd. Performance. And we need to call the variant non-turbo. Now, I believe with better tyres, though, this could have some serious potential. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a set of turbos, get it working, and then I'll return when I've got a lap time. Okay, so the car set a 7-minute 44 time exactly, so it saved a good 30 seconds there. As for the markets, you'll see we're still quite competitive in track premium. Still seems to be general perception it's a track car, but the time it is with a Audi R8 V10 the first generation model, and a Pagani Zonda S. And I feel it's finally competing at the performance level it should, yet at the same time it's ruined. I've sure added loads of power, and it has got still half decent weight balance, as you'll see, 53.3 front. Not too bad then, but it's got almost 1300 kilos, and I've had to add loads of assists to keep the thing under control, since if we look at the transmission you'll see 18.5% wheel spin. It's ridiculous. Also, you'll see it's a 6-speed transmission. I decided, hey, I could extend out since the top speed is a little higher. But it's also a wide body. If we move through a menu or two, you'll see 315 rear, 305 front. I decided the front had been extended enough, and hey, I didn't need 315 on the front. It's also in sport compound road tyres. I didn't want to go for semi-slicks. They're a bit less usable in all kinds of weather. Now, again, we come on to the point why I've ruined it. Sure, it's got better grip now, but just look at how flared they are. It's almost like the Toyota Supra, though. It was never meant to be this fast from standard. It was meant to be in the hands of the tuners to do their wonderful things to the car. And I've taken a pure car and destroyed it, basically. It makes 487 horsepower. I could easily make more, but I just stuck it on the race preset and went +1 on quality and everything on the engine, because, hey, I decided with an engine that powerful, you want the quality to go with it. For value, it is an excellent value car, but I have taken the balance, which is ultimately what I was after. I also make slightly less profit, and it's about 2,500 more, so excellent value. You pay a little more and you get incredible amounts of power from the car. You know, in my personal opinion, it's not great, and I need to name it Turbo now. No. There we go. And I'm happy with the performance. I'm just not happy with how it's lost its soul. It's lost its purity. You see the engine still fits here. The turbo's down there, and there's still plenty of space even in such a tight engine bay. But it annoys me, you know. It annoys me because it's just what you want a quick car to be, but it's not balanced. The miles per gallon mind is still 20, which for something that can compete with a Pagani Zonda is actually half decent. Either way, our Lotus Examine, better than the Civic, can say goodbye until another day.